Rounding to 100 in large numbers, practice 2. Hello, my name is Sarah. Thank you for joining me for this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to practice rounding to the hundreds place value in large numbers. You will need a whiteboard, piece of paper, or the handout available with this lesson, and something to write with. Let's get started. In order to round to the nearest hundreds, we need to make sure that we know how to count by hundreds. Let's practice this together now. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000. Well done. Let's see how it works. The first number we're going to round is 481,584. The first thing we need to do is identify the hundreds place value and the number that will tell us how to round. 5 is the digit in the hundreds place value, and 8 will tell us how to round. We can ignore the 4, 8, and 1 until we're ready to write the answer. What two numbers is 584 between? Which two hundreds? It is between 500 and 600. If you remember, 0 to 4 will round down, 5 to 9 will go up. Which way does the 8 tell us to round? The 8 tells us we're going to round up to 600. When we write our answer, we'll write 481,600. So our answer is 481,600 because the 8 tells the 584 to round up to 600. Be sure to check your work. The next number we're going to round is 5,814. We're going to round this number to the nearest hundreds. I'm going to give you a few moments to try rounding it on your own. Please round 5,814 to the nearest hundred. Let's review it together. We'll identify 8 in the hundreds place. The 1 will tell us how to round. We will ignore the 5. 814 is between 800 and 900. 0 to 4 tells us to round down. 5 to 9 tells us to round up. The 1 will tell 814 to round down to 800. So when we write our answer, we'll have 5,800. We'll have 5,000 and then 800 because the 1 tells 814 to round down. Be sure to check your work. The next number we're going to round is 97,198. 97,198. I'm going to give you a few moments to round 97,198 to the nearest hundred. Please do so now. Let's see how it works. We're going to identify the 1 as the hundreds place value. We'll circle the 9 because that will tell us how to round. The 9 and the 7 we can ignore. What two hundreds is 198 between? It is between 100 and 200. 0 to 4 tells us to round down. 5 to 9 tells us to round up. The 9 tells 198 to round up to 200. When we write our answer, we'll write 97,200. We have the 97,000 from the original number, and then 200 because the 9 tells 198 to round up to 200. Be sure to check your work. There are only a few more problems left. The next number is 316,748. Copy this number down and round to the nearest hundreds. Round 316,748 to the nearest hundreds. I will give you a few moments to do so now. Let's see how it works. We'll underline the hundreds, which is where the 7 is. We'll circle the 4, which will tell us how to round. We will ignore the 3, 1, and 6. What two hundreds is 748 between? That is between 700 and 800. 0 to 4 rounds down, and 5 to 9 rounds up. The 4 will tell 748 to round down to 700. So when we write our answer, we'll write 316,700. We write 316 because it's part of the original number. Then we write 700 because the 4 tells 748 to round down. Be sure to check your work. The final number we're going to round is 14,529. Copy this number down and round it to the nearest hundreds. I will give you a few moments now to round 14,529 to the nearest hundred. Let's see how it works. We'll underline the 5 because it's in the hundreds place value. We'll circle the 2 because that will tell us how to round. The 1 and the 4 we will ignore. What two hundreds is 529 between? It is between 500 and 600. If you remember, 0 to 4 you round down, 5 to 9 you round up. The 2 tells 529 to round down to 500. So when we write the answer, we'll write 14,500. 14,000 we get from the original problem, and then 500 because the 2 tells 529 to round down. So when we round to the hundreds, we'll have 14,500. Be sure to check your work. In this lesson, we practice rounding to the hundreds place value in large numbers. Thank you for following along.